Everything you see is fully custom. On site right now, we have 2 over-width homes, so the 10'6".
Having that extra width just makes a huge difference for comfortability inside. Feels a lot more like a home and a lot less like a trailer. We get a lot of interesting requests when it comes to sinks. Having lived in both styles of tiny homes, I definitely prefer the ground floor bedroom. Follow me inside and we'll take a look.
Hi, I'm Pat.
And I'm Jess.
We are Rewild Homes.
This is the Thicket Tiny House. It is built on a 21,000-pound GVW trailer, triple axle. The finished weight of this home is going to be around 20,000 pounds. This home in particular is actually 10'6" wide, so most of the tiny homes that you see are 8'6". Having that extra width just makes a huge difference for comfortability inside. Feels a lot more like a home and a lot less like a trailer. Follow me inside and we'll take a look. This tiny house has a single-story layout, so there's no sleeping loft. There is a loft for storage, but going with the over-width build, the way that we build the raised and cantilevered subfloor means that you lose around 10 inches of headroom. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does mean that you can't comfortably sleep up in a loft. We've seen a big shift away from the classic loft-style tiny homes with the stairs, and many more people are going with the 10'6" single story with a ground floor bedroom. Whether that's aging in place or considering a resale or just overall comfortability, having lived in both styles of tiny homes, I definitely prefer the ground floor bedroom. We have dogs. I'm a midnight peer. Going up and down the loft is not just something that's uncomfortable for people who are older or perhaps not as mobile. It's just across the board a lot more comfortable to have everything on one level, at least from what we see, both from a personal perspective and from our clientele. What I like about the end kitchens is it provides a lot more space to move around. You don't feel interrupted by people going into the washroom. You have just a lot more space to feel like it's its own designated area, as opposed to blending more into the rest of the space. The finishes in this kitchen, we went with a custom dark green color for the cabinets and black finishes for the fixtures and the sink. That's what inspired the name of this tiny house, the Thicket, because we wanted it to feel like you were nestled into the forest. Adding to the feeling of being nestled into the forest are the different wood finishes that we chose for this tiny house. We went with acacia for the butcher block countertops. We have a beautiful stained cedar ceiling, and that really helps to make it feel like you are just nestled into a little thicket in the forest. This kitchen has a couple of cool features. It has a gigantic granite sink. We get a lot of interesting requests when it comes to sinks, and I think one of my favorite requests was needed to be big enough to fit a dash end. This one definitely is. The range in this home is from Unique. Most of the ranges that we use are from Unique because they have a really great line of off-grid style propane ranges. This one does run on propane, but it also has a convection oven. The hood fan that we've got in here is vented to the outside, so it's not just a recirculating filter, which really helps to add airflow in the house. We also have ceiling fans in the main space and in the bedroom, so it really helps when you combine all of those things and then strategically placed opening windows to maintain airflow, which is really important for preventing moisture buildup. We've got in this tiny house a little dining space. Again, comes down to what your priorities are. That's why we really love to do custom. Some people work from home, they need a designated desk space. Some people are artists and want something that folds down or gets put away. This one in particular just has a nice little dining nook as opposed to having something for a more robust workspace. Now let's go take a look at the living room space. This living room is designed to be cozy and comfortable, which of course that's what you want from a living room. There is room for a sizable couch. This living room space also has, for a heat source, an electric fireplace. Usually we go with panel style heaters, which are very low pro. They are cool to the touch, so they have virtually no clearance. You'll see we have one in the bedroom, But having an electric fireplace just provides a really nice ambiance and is a lot easier than a wood stove. The walls that we do in our tiny homes are pine tongue and groove. So it's really nice and solid. You can hang up paintings, you know, without having to worry, and you don't have to worry about cracking during transportation. Whereas if you're going with something like drywall or a smooth ply, you're gonna have seams and you're gonna probably have difficulties during transportation. So by going with the pine wall boards in combination with the closed cell spray foam, it creates a super rigid structure. Like, we always joke that you could take out every second stud and you'd still be fine because the rigidity of that spray foam really helps, considering that it's a mobile structure. So as you can see, the walls in this home are whitewashed. We can do whatever you'd like. The doors that we have for the bathroom and bedroom are also made from the pine and are whitewashed. These are hand-built in-house. We really like the barn door style. A lot of people ask for pocket doors, which seem like a really good idea, but what you don't consider is that there's plumbing run in the walls. So once you're starting to put pocket doors in, we really have to reconsider where we're running our plumbing and electrical. The barn doors are a great solution. The flooring that we use most often in our tiny homes is engineered hardwood. Engineered hardwood is a really great alternative, both from cost, and also from sustainability. They still have wood on the top, but then it has an engineered product on the inside. So it's really helping to reduce the amount of wood that's needed for a larger space, which we find really great. There's the similar options when it comes to cabinetry as well. And you know, it's not like your grandparents' veneer. Products have come a really long way. And so it's a really good way to, save a little bit of cost and also be a little bit lighter on the environment. Follow me and we'll check out the bathroom. We've got tiled walls for the bathroom. We do a lot of tiling. We either go with a synthetic tile, vinyl tile, or an actual stone or porcelain tile. We've never had anything ever crack in transport, knock on wood, but that's a question we get asked all the time. Going with tile in the bathroom is also almost always the best option because it's very waterproof. This home in particular has a flush toilet. This bathroom also has room for a combo washer dryer. We usually go with a combo washer dryer for a couple reasons. One, of course, space. Stacking washer dryers take up a ton of space, but also power. Most of our appliance planning in our tiny homes is based around what kind of power you're going to have access to, because that's what decides what appliances you can have in your tiny house. If you're wanting a stacking washer dryer, you're probably going to need a 100 amp service, which most people don't want to hardwire their tiny home, so most people go with that 50 amp. That's why these are great. These are just on their own small little circuit. They're also ventless, self-condensing, so you don't have to worry about venting them to outside. Size of the load for the dry is a lot smaller than the max size for the wash. So if you're planning on doing a big load, you're going to need to separate it in order to do the dry cycle. Once you get the hang of that, the nice thing about the combo washer dryer is that you can just set it. You don't have to turn your laundry over. So you just have a super long cycle for sure, but it washes and then it dries. Your clothes are all just ready to go. Let's go take a look at the bedroom. So as you can see, ground floor bedroom, super comfortable, no crawling around in a loft to make your bed. You've got tons of room and tons of closet space. So we're really happy to do this full-size closet space around the whole bed. Adding to the little things that you might not consider when you're planning out your tiny home is when you do go with a surround closet space like this, you can't have bedside tables. Bedside tables are pretty much non-negotiable for most people. So an easy solution to that is to go with a headboard that you can put your water on, your books on, anything like that. So there's always a way to be able to make sure that you're comfortable. The access to the storage loft is via a ladder, tucks away. So when it's not in use, it's just up on the wall, and then it's got a second set. So then you can clamber on up and you can take a look in your storage loft. The trailers that we use are all custom built here in the Lower Mainland. They're all, of course, CSA and highway compliant. They come with scissor jacks welded onto the frame, which really helps with leveling. Once you get it in place, you're still going to want to have it actually blocked up. But the scissor jacks make a really big difference for leveling both front to back and side to side. We do standing seam metal roofing, and being in the Pacific Northwest, we go above and beyond when it comes to waterproofing our roofs. This home in particular doesn't have skylights. It really just comes down to cost and personal choice. I'm a big fan. My husband not so much, since he's the one who has to install them and do the waterproofing. When you are considering what roof line you want to go with, don't just consider the aesthetics. You also do need to understand that there's a big cost difference. So this is the most economical roof line. This is a standard shed slope. You only have one low side that you're going to put your gutters if you're wanting to do rainwater collection. As opposed to if you have a peaked roof, then you have two sides that you need to run gutters on to get that rainwater collection. So a little bit more work on your end, a little bit more cost. But aesthetically, it really comes down to personal preference. Some people really like the look of the more simple shed slope. Some people are ride or die for the peaked roof. So just things to consider when you're thinking about what you want for your tiny house. This home has a combination of materials on the outside. There's a little bit of metal, there's a little bit of cedar, and then we've got fir for our trims and our corners and our fascia. Our primary entry is a set of double doors, so you can really help to expand your feeling of space. It really helps to make your inside feel a little bit bigger if you can feel like you're also progressing into the outside. And then we have a secondary door in the bedroom. The water heaters that we use almost exclusively are exterior mounted because nobody wants to take up any unnecessary space inside of a tiny house. They are rated for all weather. The connections here you'll see is for the propane and the hot water and cold water. We do have to remove it for transportation, one, because it would get damaged, and two, because it puts you over width. This home in particular has a flush toilet. Really depends on personal preference and where you're going to be parked. Most of our homes are composting toilets, meaning they don't need a septic connection. As a standard now, without even asking people, what we do is we include the connections for both composting or flush toilet. We started this company together back in 2013. We actually were wanting to build ourselves a tiny house and just explore a different style of living. When we started looking around online for resources and information, we really didn't find anything. So seeing that there was, for one, no resources for people who wanted to build their own tiny homes, and for two, there was no tiny home companies around at the time, we thought that it was a really cool opportunity to get into a niche that didn't really exist yet.
You can get your home from us in anywhere from 6 to 12 months. We've never been into the large-scale manufacturing production facility. We like what we do. We get to know our clients.
The cost of our tiny homes varies quite a bit because everything we do is fully custom. So one decision could, add $5,000, but the majority of our fully finished move-in ready tiny homes are around $150 to $195 Canadian. The thing that we hear more often than not when people come and see in person, for one, wow, your quality is amazing. I can tell they're really well built. But for two, they're so much bigger in person than in the pictures.
When it comes to investing in a product, let alone a product that is going to be your home and your security and an investment, you want people liking what they do, building things for you.
We don't feel like we have to be here, we feel like we get to be here. Yeah. And I realize as I'm saying that how cheesy that sounds, but sometimes, cliches are the truest things in life, right?
So this is our workshop. This is where we build our tiny homes. We definitely prefer to do everything indoors. On site right now, we have 2 over-width homes, so the 10'6". Everything you see is fully custom. We go over every aspect with each client. This client wanted to do all of the siding metal, so it'd be zero maintenance for the life of the home. This client wanted a combination. As best we can, we like to have both homes kind of going up at the same time as far as production and services, etc. The current stage that both of these homes are at are almost done on the outside, and then full rough-in electrical, plumbing, and spray foam done on the insides. So here's one of the homes that is in progress right now. This is kind of at almost what I would call a level 3 shell. It'll be a bit done on the outside in another week and a half, but on the inside, it's full electrical and plumbing is done. Just literally had the spray foam guys leave yesterday, so they buttoned everything up for us. And so next up is wall boarding. Some clients are fine with just one entry. You know, when the layout allows it, we do recommend having a second egress in the bedroom if possible. It's just safer that way. Plus, you know, people often want to have two kind of entrances, a little deck. You know, a lot of people have dogs who go with tiny homes, so they like having a little spot right off the bedroom to let the puppy out. Every now and then, a client will want a deck or an awning included. So we do, fortunately around here, have some decent wood that we can get. So we managed to get some yellow cedar to build a portable, lightweight deck for the client. But usually clients handle their own on-site stuff, which includes the skirting, so which is very, very important. You absolutely have to skirt your tiny homes. So the benefit to doing all metal exterior siding is that the way we build, then a client can come after the fact and get the same exact profile metal, same color and everything, and have it continue on. And we leave a lip so that they can come in and secure it by just removing a couple screws. And they can slide that up, level it to where they want, and then re-secure that last screw on a row of screws to have full protective skirting underneath the home. Where do we see the future of tiny homes heading? Being welcomed. It's a solution to a very obvious, you know, kind of top three issues, you know, that
Housing.
you know, our kind of society faces. And these minimum square footage homes of like 950 square feet or whatever, not everybody needs that. Let every individual person determine what's the minimum square footage they need to live. Follow your heart, you know, like if you want to be in a tiny home, you can make it happen. You know, everybody says like, you can't park them anywhere. And that's just a bit of a defeatist attitude because there are lots of places you can park these.
We've been building these for, again, 12 years, and we've never had a client be kicked out of their spot. We have many clients living all over the place here, just happily and quietly. It's frustrating to have to answer the question so often, where can I legally park? And having to give this giant explanation that boils down to, well, you can't technically. Is definitely disheartening, but again, we've been doing this for a long time, and when there's a will, there's a way, and people simply just choose to live quietly in non-compliance. And it's not that they don't have the money to pay for a permit system or are too lazy to, it's that it doesn't exist.
If you like this week's episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check back soon because we have new unique home tours publishing all the time. And if you'd like to join our team and get access to members-only content and unique perks, make sure you click on the join button below.